Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to get started as soon as we get some folks in here. I cannot see who's in here, so if you guys would do me a favor and say a quick hello for those of you who just came in. What is going on? Hopefully you can see me. I'm sorry. I hate adjusting stuff after I've already started. Can you hear me? Hi, Danielle. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you saying hello because you can hear me. I'm using a mic so that everybody can hear me today. All right. Yay. Yes, good job. Okay, great. You can hear me. Awesome. All right, so we're going to get started. Today's class starts at 2. Thank you. Hi, Jay. Nice to see you all as you come in. I appreciate you all for showing up. Yay. So if you are unaware of who I am, my name is Ashley Ford. I am the owner and creator of Textures Hair Care LLC. And this is the Textures University first free course called Healthy Hair on a Budget. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the things that you can do for your hair as far as products that are already in your home, things that you may or may not know about your hair. Also, we're going to talk through a couple of things regarding my journey and how I came about doing classes like this, as well as what I went through in order to find a way to not pay so much money when it comes to having healthy hair. So I'm going to jump right into it. This class is a course that I have taught before, and I actually really enjoy teaching it because one of the things that's most important to me is knowledge when it comes to hair. I do not like, as a stylist, for my clients to just sit in my chair and not understand what's going on with their head. A lot of times what you will see is that people who are just money driven, they're only interested in the transaction portion of your time with them when you're sitting in their chair. I'm not looking for that. I want people to come back to see me because they, number one, appreciate what I do for them and how I enhance their beauty. But then in addition to that, I want to make sure that my clients are knowledgeable, because things like someone moving away, especially me, like I actually moved from Greenville, South Carolina to Charlotte, North Carolina. And a lot of my clients were like trying to find someone else to do their hair. And so in that instance, it was important for me to train them the best way that I could on what to use, how to use it, what products I used in their hair that will allow them to be successful later until they found someone. I think that a lot of times stylists are intimidated by that because they automatically think that, well, if I show them what to do, they won't come back. And that's not true. I've actually had clients tell me that they appreciate that I was upfront and honest with them and told them exactly what to use in their hair and why, and the things that go on with their hair. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about my journey going natural. One of the things that was enticing was YouTube. I mean, everybody falls into the YouTube trap. I know you guys have at one point or another. So I was watching YouTube, and I had always been curious to see, like, what my hair would be like if I didn't have a relaxer. I got to a point where my hair was long, or long enough, I guess, like baby shoulder length, but it wouldn't go past that. And it got irritating. And I'm like, okay, is it my ends would get to a point where it would either um, split or something would happen where I couldn't get past the shoulder length for some reason. So I was like, I want to see what my hair would do without a relaxer. Because I remember when I was a little girl, I had extremely long hair before. Well, my mom relaxed it, but I was getting, you remember the PCJ, press and comb in a jar. And so it's a relaxer, but it's not, before the Just For Me, you had the PCJ and you didn't do it as often. It was more kind of like a texturizer just to kind of help to manage the hair. So that's what I was getting, but I wasn't getting it as often as we now probably get relaxers, maybe between 4 to 6 weeks. So I think my hair may have been over processed. I'm not sure, but the long and short of it is it wasn't going past a certain level. And so I'm like, you know what? I want to see what it would be like if I just took the relaxer out of my hair and went natural. So I transitioned. My last relaxer was November 2010. Um, before I went completely natural. And so I transitioned for all of 5 months. And again, I fell into the YouTube trap, that nice little hole. Um, I was interested and kept getting curious, more curious, more curious about what my hair was going to look like. And so I ended up chopping way before I wanted to. My goal was to transition at least for like a year. But those two textures is the worst. So if you are transitioning, I am praying for you because it's not easy. So I ended up cutting my hair, and my hair was about this long. And I'll never forget the look on my face. First of all, it was longer than that. I won't say it was that long. It was longer than that, but my shrinkage, as you can see, is super real. Like if I pull my hair now, you see shrinkage. So it's just, I wasn't used to that. Nobody tells you that on YouTube. Again, you fall into that hole and there's always missing information. So from there, I went through, product after product, what worked, what didn't work, using stuff that was on the cheaper end because in my mind, I didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on stuff that probably wouldn't work, which I'm sure you guys have fallen into. And then going through texturizing my hair and then chopping again. And then I relaxed my hair because I was just so fascinated with getting a pixie cut. And then I went back to being natural. So Katrina said, that's me. So it's the back and forth, right? And a lot of times what happens is we get so to the point where we don't know what to do with our hair. We haven't been trained. YouTube raised us, right? So there aren't a lot of people who specialize in natural hair that are knowledgeable. Now, I'm not saying that they're not out there. There's just not a lot that I've seen. A lot of the YouTube videos, and I have a problem, so please pray for me. I will watch a YouTube video and listen to misinformation, finish the video because their hair ends up being really cute at the end, but roll my eyes the entire time. So just pray for me because I can't stand when people give the wrong information. So a lot of times people will, and we've all done it, right? Will go and say, a review about a product, say that they have, 4C, 4B, 4A hair, and not really tell you like anything else other than that. So you're thinking to yourself like, oh, well, I have 4B here, I should use that product too. Nobody's talking about the most important thing about having natural hair, and that is your porosity level. No one tells you about, no one even talks about porosity. You probably don't even know what porosity is. I was talking to someone the other day and she was like, what is that? And it's funny because of all the things that we've learned over the years about natural hair, that's the most important thing before you learn your hair type. And so I've had issues where I've used a product and my hair been completely white. I've had issues with using a product and my hair has been so heavy that when I touch it or it just just squeeze a curl that there's just oil dripping down my arm. And I know that you guys have been through that too. So I want to talk to you about the first thing that you need to do in order to save money and have healthy hair, and that is find out what your porosity level is. So, what is porosity? Porosity refers to your hair's ability to absorb and maintain moisture. What ends up happening is you may have a certain porosity level and you're not aware of it, and then the product sits right on your head. Or you have a porosity level that's at another level, and the product is not even heavy enough that your hair always feels dry. So there are three levels to porosity, and that's your low level porosity, your normal level porosity, and your high level porosity. The two that are most important is the low and the high, because when your normal porosity level, you're going to shampoo with, sulfate free shampoos and conditioners that have no parabens, and you're going to use products that feel great to your hair. You probably would be able to use something that has a little bit of a silicone in it, maybe not, depending on your texture. But a lot of times with a normal hair porosity, you pretty much have an open window to kind of use certain things up to a limit. So let's talk about low porosity. This is the one thing that a lot of African Americans especially have. Low porosity is like probably 90% of what my clients have. And a lot of times people, again, do not tell you anything about porosity. Hold on, I'm reading Katrina's comment. It says, is that how your hair absorbs? Yes. So yes, your hair porosity level is basically your hair's ability to maintain moisture. And a lot of times, we have hair that is dying for moisture. And then you have other people who have hair that it's it's there when you need it to be, and then it leaves very quickly. So low porosity is tightly sealed cuticles, which makes it difficult for water to enter the hair shaft. So what ends up happening if you're someone who has low porosity hair, when you shampoo your hair and you wet it down, what you'll notice right away is that it does not get wet right then. Like you feel like you have to drench it in order for you to feel the water through your hair. Most of these textures are like sponge like. Someone who has a very Z pattern, tightly coiled hair usually has low porosity. That means that, you are going to have to taper what you use, because you're going any product that you use needs to be sealed in. So anything that you use that may be too heavy is going to sit right on that hair. And you're going to have white hair, walk around running errands with little white flakes all over your hair if you use something too heavy. So someone with low porosity hair needs to use a water-based product, something that is light but still moisturizing. Water needs to be the first ingredient. When you look at the back of your products, which you need to do, and a lot of people don't, but if you look at the back label of the product and the first ingredient is water, that's for you. You need to use something that is not as thick. And then before using those products, the best thing to do is to use like a steamer or sit up under the dryer with a cap on your head using the product. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to use an oil, for example, or you wanted to do the lock method. So you used a water-based leave-in and then you put your oil in afterwards. Well, you need to sit underneath a steamer or use some hot water in order to seal those products in, because what ends up happening is excuse me, is the product can't get into the hair shaft. It's just basically blocked. There is a blocking on your hair. And so you end up with this residue. You end up with, products just sticking to your head, sticking to your ends, flaking. It also can build up on your scalp the more you put into your hair, because maybe you aren't aware of what you should use. And that has happened. And I've seen that happen on a lot of my clients, where they end up putting a product on so much, thinking that, oh, well, it'll just go away. And it does eventually go away as far as the flaking goes, but you don't have anything on your hair now because it's just sitting there. It's just sat there pretty much. And so I watched a YouTube video, and the girl was like, oh, well, my hair is white, but it's still cute. It'll go away in a couple of days. The reason why your hair is white is because that product was not for you. Let's stop making the excuse to use the product just for the sake of getting a review on YouTube if you're someone who does videos, or to say that you used it and okay, it made your twist out great, but your hair's still dry. Anyway, I could go on and on about that little tidbit. Okay, so then the next one is high porosity. Now, I know a few, I will say like maybe 5 people in my life that have high porosity hair. And high porosity is when the cuticles are open and they are wide open, and it's hard for them to close just on their own. So that means that the water probably is getting in there really quickly. Your hair will like dry like that. So for low porosity hair, it takes your hair forever to dry. So if you're somebody who sits up under the dryer like me for hours trying to get your hair to dry, chances are you have low porosity hair. So if you have high porosity hair, it dries very quickly. However, keeping the moisture in your hair is hard to do. And so when you have high porosity hair, you have to really be careful with what products you use. So using something like um a heavier product, a shea butter or a cocoa and butter, any type of butters and oil, heavy oils will do really good for your hair. You also need to be someone that will use hot oil treatments. Hot oil treatments are amazing for somebody with low or high porosity hair and low porosity hair. Low porosity, however, you need to sit up under the dryer with your hair wet and a cap on, sitting there for at least 30 minutes. For high porosity, you want to sit there, but you don't want to sit there for too long. So 10 minutes maybe max with, oil on your scalp, and using something like a castor oil or something like a glycerin that's a little bit on the heavier side for a high porosity. I'm pausing so I can answer your questions. Okay. I think that's okay. So yeah, Lauren, you're right, Tasha. Lauren does have low porosity hair. And I know this because she's one of my clients. But yes, so Lauren does have low porosity hair, and yours is kind of in the middle. So there is a such thing as having 2 types of hair porosity within your hair. So for me, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm between a low and a normal. So I can use certain products like that have silicones in them. However, I do need the extra like moisture that and sit up under the like dryer and stuff to get it to seal in, because my hair will like quench. It's just like it wants more and more and more and more and more oil or moisture in it. Or if I use something that's way too heavy, give you an example. I used a product, I'm not going to mention what it is, but it was a cream, and it had a couple of different things in there that were really heavy. I mean, this stuff was like coating, right? And so I sat up under the dryer, it took my hair forever to dry. And then once it did dry, it just sat on my head. I mean, like, I probably looked like a Dalmatian, like this bow in my head. It was like that. So parts of my hair was just like dots of white. If you ever experience that, stop using the product. Give it to a friend because no. So the knowing your porosity level though will help you when it comes time to buy products. A lot of times, like I said, we get caught up in the 4A, 4C, 4B hair products and don't understand what our porosity level is. But now that we know, let's talk a little bit about how, or well, now that we know what porosity is, let's talk a little bit about how to find out what your porosity level is. So if you're someone who has low porosity hair or high porosity hair, this is what you can do in order to, this is a little test that you can do, a water test to see what your porosity level is. So for low, you would see, basically you're going to fill up, sorry, I'm getting distracted. You're going to fill up a glass of water and you're going to put a strand of hair, either from a hairbrush, whatever, that's yours, not someone else's, and into the cup. And if it floats, your hair porosity level is low. If it just kind of wades in the water and just, is kind of there, it's normal. But if it sinks to the bottom, you've got high porosity hair. So this is a way that you can test your porosity level before you even go out and buy a new product. So while you're sitting and watching these YouTube videos to try to figure out, ooh, I want to try X, Y, and Z, make sure that you do the test first and understand what the characteristics are of each so that okay, well, guess what? She said, I remember Ashley said that, if I can't use heavy things because it'll sit on my hair. Okay, so I think I have low porosity hair. So then now you can look up products that are specific for low porosity hair. The one company that I absolutely adore and admire that has great products and have figured out a way in order for us to understand our porosity level is Shea Moisture. Now, I will say that we recently all had an issue with them as a company, but they do have a line specific to low porosity levels and high porosity levels. You can go on their website because I don't know that they're in the store. I think it's one of those things you have to order. But if you're somebody you're like, okay, I can't find any products that I like, or I can't seem to find anything on the market specific to my hair type, then you can always go and buy one of their products. And I'm It is amazing. They have everything. So yeah, porosity level is very, very important to understand. And then from there, now we can go back and just find out simple things, right? So one of the things that I like to do and I like to tell my clients to do is just to find things that are simple around your house. Like, you don't have to go to the store and buy someone's product. If you have just oils and butters around the house, you can use and make your own stuff. You can use those things to make whatever you need. There's four things that are like staples that are low cost, that cost nothing, cost very little, if not anything, because if you already have it, stuff like, I cook with coconut oil, I always have coconut oil. Olive oil, I always have olive oil. Most of us usually have lemon juice. You have honey. If you don't, it's not expensive to buy. So one of the things that I absolutely love is aloe vera. Now, most grocery stores have the aloe vera leaves that you can go and purchase. You can also find like a health food store to get it as well. I know Whole Foods has them. Is Earth Fare still open? I'm not sure, but most of the time you can go to your local grocery store and find a aloe vera leaf. And so what you would do for with the aloe vera leaf is cut it in like, little small pieces, maybe about this big, and you're going to slice it down the middle so that you can see the meat. Once you get in there, section your hair into 4 parts and take that meat portion and apply it to the root of your hair all over. This is like a pre-poo. For those of you who are not familiar with the term, a pre-poo is a pre-shampoo so that you can basically give your hair some hydration. Aloe vera is great for giving the hair moisture and hydration. So you can leave that on for like 10-15 minutes before you wash your hair, and then make sure that you use a sulfate free shampoo and conditioner. And that way, you seal in the moistures. Now, because you're using a pre-poo, you don't want to go behind the pre-poo and use a clarifying shampoo. Gonna say that again. Because you use the pre-poo, you do not want to go behind the pre-poo and use a clarifying shampoo. The reason why is anytime you're using a natural pre-poo, clarifying is going to strip everything. You're trying to add moisture. So what you want to do is to get a shampoo that has an equal balance where it is hydrating but also cleansing at the same time. So you don't what ends up happening is a clarifying shampoo strips everything, including all the oils, all the everything out of your hair. And then you're left with this hair that needs moisture. Well, we did a pre-poo to put the moisture in. So you want to just make sure that you're shampooing it out, but still having the moisture that we put into the hair. That makes sense. So the next thing that most of us have is coconut oil. And you can take coconut oil and use it on just about anything. I use coconut oil as a diaper cream because it's an antifungal and it will get rid of some of the bacteria that cause diaper rash. It will get rid of the things that cause dandruff on your scalp. If you mix coconut oil with a little bit of lemon juice and put that on as like a scalp cleanser and massage your scalp really, really good, you can even use a comb and kind of get the dandruff off your scalp. I promise you, it will be better than using Head and Shoulders. Not only are you adding an oil to your hair that's going to, hydrate and put some of that moisture back into the scalp that is probably lacking, which is the reason why you have dandruff to begin with. You're also giving your hair some lemon juice. And I'm going to tell you right now that the combination of the two is absolutely amazing. You don't have to worry about your scalp getting super dry again, because I don't know about you, but anytime I've used a dandruff shampoo, it just dries the hair further. Now, not all of them. There are some professional products out there that are not open to you all that will put the moisture back in at the same time stripping the dandruff, but it's not available to everybody. So if you're going to go and get a dandruff shampoo, 9 times out of 10, you're either getting one from a dermatologist or you're getting a Head and Shoulders, and it's going to dry your hair out. So then you're going to have to go back through, do the hydrating shampoo or conditioner that may or may not have a silicone in it, and then we start the process all over again. So the best thing to do, instead of wasting a bunch of money on stuff that's just going to hurt your hair in the long run, use things that are around the house. These are just staples. So another one is honey. Honey is awesome. First of all, I use honey in my products. Honey is great for shine. If you just wanted to mix honey with like an avocado to make a mayonnaise, like I know a lot of people like hair mask. A great hair mask is honey avocado, and an egg. If you just want a little bit of protein. If you don't want the protein, leave the egg out. But just to add those two to your hair and sit up under the dryer on like medium heat. Don't do high because Lord, it's food, so you don't want to cook it in your hair, but you do want to, get some steam. If you have a steamer, the steamer is better. And that just creates just moisture and shine. It's amazing. Your hair will feel great. Your hair will also feel more pliable. If you're somebody who feels like your hair is always hard, it feels always like crunchy. Every time you style it, you can't seem to get it to feel soft without it feeling brittle. Whatever you use, no matter what you use, it always feels the same. Those two things together will help your hair, and you can use them all over. But honey can be combined with olive oil to treat your ends. So again, that brittle feeling, if you're someone who just, I can't seem to get my ends to not be brittle. Let's say, for instance, you wear your hair curly all the time and then you decide to straighten your hair and you feel that crunch. We've all been there. A lot of times it's either color damage, it could also be heat damage. Those things together will cause you to have a haircut. So what you want to do is to trim your ends, but then also go back through and get something that is worthwhile to put into your hair. Now, a lot of times people will ask me, oh, what can I buy? I want to redirect you all back to your cabinets because that's going to be the most economical way for you to have healthy hair. And then you don't have to worry about something potentially causing you another symptom, right? We all see these drugs on the TV and they have all these side effects. And so you have to get something for your side effects. So it's the same thing with hair products. So you may use something to combat, the dryness, but then now you have to use something else to do whatever that product stripped, from you. So using products that are in your cabinet is the best way to save money. And then the last thing that we have all had at some point, either taking it by mouth or using it on our hair, is castor oil. This is the best stimulant for hair growth. If you're somebody who is looking to grow your hair and you want a really good enriching oil, and if you have low porosity hair or high porosity hair, let me tell you, this is going to be your best friend. So castor oil, if you just apply it to your scalp, you can use it daily. I wouldn't suggest using it daily if you're someone who wears a lot of blowouts because it's just gonna, make your hair look greasy. But if you're someone like me, well, I'm recently back, but before I was locked, I wore a lot of like twist outs and stuff, and I don't really straighten my hair as much. So, in that case, using something like a castor oil nightly and massaging my scalp, it's not just about using the oil, it's about the action afterwards. It's not just about using the product, it's about the action afterwards. Same thing, especially when it comes to coloring your hair. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, the color broke my hair off. No, it's not the color, it's the action afterwards. So the same thing here. So when we put castor oil on our scalp, you want to make sure that you're massaging your scalp really good and doing it at least 3 to 5 times a week to stimulate hair growth. Now, the two go together because castor oil alone is not going to just help your hair grow. You need to massage your scalp. And that goes for any oil, even if you just use my oil on your hair, which does have castor oil in it. The hair growth oil by Serenity Naturals on your scalp, massaging it in is going to help stimulate that growth. Okay. Hopefully you all are still with me. Do you have any questions? I never understood the why and what to use based on price. Okay. Yeah. So I want to be the person that allows you all to be great because what I find is a lot of times we're just out purchasing stuff and we have no idea, what to use, why we're using it, or well, we know why. We saw someone on YouTube or we saw someone else's hair. And I'm guilty, right? Because I have a hair product and I want you to use it. I put out videos so that people can use my product. And that's, the best way to get it out. But at the same time, I want to try to educate you on why you should use it. And I want to try to educate you on whether my products are good for you. Like, I'm not trying to just make a sale when I do that. And I know that other people are, they just want you to buy it. They don't care if it works for your hair or not. My goal is to make sure that if you have low porosity hair, you're not using the Serenity Naturals Fluff and Shine on your hair. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to sit on top of your head. So, are you in Charlotte, Ashley? If we want to become a client of yours, I am in Charlotte. I sure am. Um, as of right now, I am positioning. I'm in my positioning season. I am not in a salon currently. However, it is coming. It is coming. I am praying that 2021 will not escape us before I am in a location, but it may be next year. It depends on COVID, my kids going back to school, that whole deal. But yes, I am in the Charlotte area. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of I'll give you some examples of some products that you can buy that are on the market for a low cost. So these products are all under $10. Now, some of them may be a little bit more than 10, but with the combination of them. So like the Giovanni, which I absolutely love. If you're someone who is just looking for a really good shampoo that will bring out your curls in addition to retaining moisture and maybe possibly, having a deep conditioner, Giovanni is amazing. It's probably the one product that I use the most in my journey, outside of my own products, right? So, oh, Katrina, you're relocating. Yay! Okay, we'll talk offline. Yes, so Giovanni is amazing. They have several different ones, but I would recommend if you're someone with low porosity hair, the 50-50 balance. Let me tell you, it is amazing. And sitting up under a steamer or a dryer with a cap on is going to do your hair wonders. Now, I want to make sure that I give you the right information because if you have a steamer, don't wear a cap. If you don't have a steamer, you need to wear a cap up under the dryer. The reason why, and I've seen people do this and it bothers me. So I've seen this on YouTube. Again, I am the YouTube stroller. I stroll through YouTube a lot. But I've seen people sit up under a steamer with a cap on, and it's like, but you're you're steaming your hair, you're steaming the cap and not your hair at that point. So if you have a steamer, do not wear a cap. However, if you don't have a steamer and you just have a dryer like I do, the steamer is coming, then you need to wear a cap to create the steam. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, but Giovanni is amazing. I love their products. Another one is your just simple eco. Like, who doesn't see? You can buy Eco Styler from Walmart. I believe that they have Eco Styler at the dollar store. I'm not mistaken. So amazing. And that particular product, if you're someone, however, with low porosity hair, you need to be careful how you use it. If you're going to use the Eco with low porosity hair, do not put an oil on first. I repeat, if you're going to use the Eco Styler gel on your hair to style, do not use an oil first. Your hair will be white, crunchy, and look a hot mess. Just saying. that it's not for you. However, if you have high porosity hair, you do want to seal your ends with an oil before using an eco. The greatest thing that I've discovered, thanks to YouTube, is the S Curl Activator gel, not the spray. Now, if you're somebody with low porosity hair and you're looking for something to put up under a gel so that your hair isn't crunchy and chunky, you want to use this S Curl Activator gel. And I wish I had it next to me so I can show you what it looks like. However, if you go to my YouTube page, which I'm hoping that you all will go and subscribe, please, and thank you. I do have a video of how I did my wash and go after I cut my locks off, and I used the S Curl, and I show you what it looks like. Now, I have a jar of it, but they sell it in a tube everywhere. So there's a question. How's the gel of Giovanni? I need a gel that doesn't turn white. I have protective style, but want to slick my edges. Okay, so, you know, as far as the edges go, I wouldn't use a gel that is for the actual strands of your hair. If you're just looking for something for your edges, the best thing that I've found so far, shout out to Cream of Nature, is the Cream of Nature Perfect Edges brand. They have gone as far as putting color in their edge control. When I tell you, I have, and we're going to talk about this in our color class, I have these disrespectful. Okay, can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay, this thing. Yes, you did lose me for a second. It went away. Okay, sorry. It froze on me. Okay, so yeah, the Cream of Nature edge control, it has a color in it. So they've made the colors now, like, which is awesome. So if you have disrespectful grays, because mine are completely disrespectful, and I have some in my hair right now. It slicks down the edges and gives you a little bit of color so your grays don't show. It's amazing. I love it. The last thing I heard was something that was disrespectful. My grays are disrespectful, Katrina. I'm sorry. It cut out for some strange reasons. StreamYard doesn't want me to be great. So I apologize for that. But yeah, to answer your question, Edwina, Cream of Nature edge control. Don't use a gel for your edges because it's not going to lay anything down. A lot of times the gels only have hold for hair versus your edges. And if we know anything about edges, edges already don't want to lay down. So the best thing to do is to get you some edge control. But yeah, Cream of Nature has been the best so far for me. And it's low cost. I know that there are others out there, but I just can't justify paying $12.99 for edge control. I just can't. I'm sorry. To those of you who have edge control and it costs that much, I love you. I appreciate you. Congratulations to making a product. However, I can't do it. So yes, it's the gray for me too. And I just turned 38, but boo, these, they're real disrespectful. But yeah, okay. So as far as products go, let me see if I can get this back. As far as products go, those were the most economical ones that I found that are under $10. Now, I also have a shampoo and conditioner that is under, well, it's not under $10, but it will run you $14. And my shampoo bars and conditioner bars are $7 a piece. And a lot of times I do have sales on them. So for our holiday sale, they were $5. And for our anniversary sale, they're going to be $5 again. So stay tuned because our anniversary is next month. We are turning 2 years old. And so we'll have the shampoo bars on sale for $5 a piece. And then our products are a little bit more expensive, but a little goes a long way with our stuff. So if you find products that you like, that you don't have to use a lot of, but maybe you spend a little bit on the front end, but it takes you a month to use it, that's a win too. So I don't want to say just go and buy cheap products. However, what I did give you was a glimpse of products that are inexpensive but still have, some type of quality to them, because the last thing you want is to buy a product that's just cheap just because it's cheap. So again, these are the ones that we were talking about. So you've got the Aunt Jackie's, which if you're someone who likes to wear your hair curly and doesn't want the crunch and you really come back. Okay, there we are. Hopefully you heard that. If you didn't, I'm going to repeat it anyway. So if you're somebody who wants to, wear wash and go, or your hair curly, or you like gels in order to style your hair, the Aunt Jackie's elongate flaxseed gel, I think is what it's called, is absolutely amazing. First of all, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's probably like $8.99 maybe. And you get a jar about this big. You don't need a whole lot. You could probably use like a dime size for each section of your hair, and it doesn't give you the crunch. Like, I can't stand when my hair, like if I touch it, it sounds like paper. I can't stand that. It drives me insane. So if you're somebody who doesn't like that, or you don't like using Eco, you've used it before and it's not the greatest, another inexpensive thing is Aunt Jackie's elongate gel. And she has a whole line of products that are amazing. And she makes a great shampoos that I've used them myself. That was probably one of the ones that I went to because I was an advocate for Miss Jessie's. I absolutely love their products. But when I tell you $22 for like my shea butter hair dress is $22, but the thing is this big. When I say $22 for something that's less than 8 ounces, I'm not with it. I can't do it. I can't. So, or $22 for something you have to use a lot of. So I felt like I was using half the tube in like two hairstyles. That's not a deal for me. Like, I'm fine to pay $22 for something that's going to last me a little bit longer. So I hope that I was able to, give you guys some insight on how to purchase products and what to do in order to have healthy hair, what to use that's already in your cabinet. Remember the just simple staples like aloe vera, honey, coconut oil, olive oil, things that you would buy at the store that are amazing for your hair and have great properties. Coconut oil, for instance, for dandruff, if you have dry scalp, those things are just things that you probably should keep around your house anyway. And always, always use them first before you go and buy another product. Okay, so I'm going to take some questions and I'm going to read some of your comments and take some questions. If you have questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask them now. Okay, so Katrina says, I saw that the other day and thought it would make my hair crunchy. So thank you. Which one are you talking about? The flaxseed gel, Katrina? I just shared on my women's group. Okay, thank you, Edwin. I appreciate it. For low porosity hair, should anything go on your hair prior to don't shrink? Okay, yes, Katrina, yes. You can use Unjackies, absolutely. So I'm trying to understand what you're asking me, Tosh. Low porosity hair, should anything go on it first before using something else? Are you there? Can you hear me? Goodness. Okay. Let me know what you mean, Tasha, because so for low porosity hair, should anything go on your hair prior to what? To the don't shrink. I'm confused. We'll come back. Okay. I tried Mielle products during the pandemic, and I think I bought the incorrect number. So I have heard great things about Mielle products. The one thing that I will caution you is to see if you're ordering them, especially if you're ordering them online, to make sure that you read the product description. And if you're somebody who feels like you have, high or low porosity, go back to what those mean and then look at the product description and the ingredients and make sure that you're not using something that's too heavy or too light for your hair, because, then you've basically wasted your money. However, what I will say, and I want to encourage you all to do, is to, if you've used a product that you may or may not, like, or sorry, that you don't like, not may like, but that you don't like, or that your hair doesn't like, always package it up, make sure that it doesn't look used or whatever, or that you get whatever out of it, and take it to a women's shelter. Take it to a home, one of these women's shelters or a shelter for like young girls and stuff, because they always are looking for products. And so that's a good thing to do with some of the things that you may not use anymore. Okay, so yes, it was too heavy. Yeah, so in that case, there's really not much you can do to it. I do have products that I've used before that I've added like oils to, and I maybe have used a little bit of the actual product and then a lot more oil just to kind of balance it out. But in that case, I wouldn't even suggest doing that. I would just suggest maybe giving it away. Maybe just give it and donate it. Okay. So I'm going to answer Tasha. Tasha said, yes, I want to do a wash and go on Lauren's hair with the Unjackies. Don't shrink. Oh, okay. You mentioned that you shouldn't use. Okay. So yes. Now in Lauren's case, I would not use an oil beforehand. I would use the oil afterwards, Like after it dries, just kind of, rub her curls with some oil. You can even rub her curls with some oil and band it at night and then let her go to sleep with her bonnet on. Because what you don't want is for her hair to have that oil sitting on top of it. It's just going to sit there because the Don't Shrink, it has a moisturizing agent in there. It's got some flaxseed oil in it. So it has what she's going to need. What I would suggest though is using that curl activator that I mentioned. And I think it's maybe $5. If I'm not mistaken, you can get it from any beauty supply store or yeah, because I was talking to someone yesterday and I said Walmart, but then I remembered that I couldn't find it at Walmart. Now, if you go to one in the hood, you might be able to, but I'm not going to have you bank on that. Just go to your local beauty supply store and get her the S Curl. It's the gel. Sir. Okay, we're back. Jesus. Okay, so yes, I would suggest those two though, Tasha. Like getting the S curl activator, shingling it through her hair first, then using a gel on top of it. Yes, S curl activator. You know the stuff the boys used to use back in the day. We're taking it way back. And not the drip drip. We don't want her soul to glow. We want the gel, not the drip. But yeah, so you take it, it basically is like a base, but it doesn't have any parabens in it. It doesn't have any silicones. It is seriously an activator. That's what I used on my hair um, before I put the Eco on top of it to enhance my curls. And when I say those curls were popping, popping. And that was a tip I got from YouTube. That was probably the first one that was a great one, actually. Okay, so let's see. I wonder what that means about our hair at doing that. I don't know what that, Katrina, what you guys are having your own conversation. Okay, so one of the things though that I want to mention before we get off today is your diet. And a lot of times we will want to grow our hair. We want to do things with our hair. We notice that our hair is dry and crunchy. We want to have moisture or we want our hair to retain moisture and all these things. So now that we know our porosity level, it's up to us, in addition to that, to drink enough water, to eat enough potassium, to eat nuts. Almonds are your friend, unless you're allergic. I apologize if you are. But if you're not and you're someone who likes nuts, eat them. That will help your hair to grow. Another thing that is great for hair growth is taking an egg and putting it on as a deep conditioner. Now, you do not, I repeat, you do not want to sit up under heat when you do this. Otherwise, you will have fried egg in your hair. You do not want to rinse it out with hot water when you do this. Otherwise, you will have egg in your hair. But it's a great way to put some protein back into your hair without using something that may or may not throw off your pH balance. So too much protein. I've heard some people go, oh, I used a protein treatment and it just made my hair so crunchy. It's probably because you overprocessed or threw off your pH balance. So you want to use something that is going to be a little bit of a balance to it. So adding an egg with a little bit of avocado to make a mask is awesome. You're getting the moisture and the protein at the same time. Mayo leave-in conditioner left me and Edwina's hair crunchy. Really? Is it? I've never used their products. Was the conditioner cream base or a water base? Was it a spray or like in a jar or something or a bottle? Um, yeah. You guys are so awesome. I appreciate you all for jumping on here. This was our first class. So, it's cream based, really. Now you got me wondering what was in it that makes the hair crunchy. And it makes me wonder if it has, some properties in it that are like not necessarily true silicones, but you can use a byproduct that will create something um that so what am I trying to say? There are components of like a mixture that people use that are still natural, but they combust, right? So it's like a chemical project or a chemistry project. So you're putting some things in together to make something, and then it reacts a certain way on the actual substance. So if they were trying to put something together in order to not use a certain chemical, it could still have made that process happen with your hair to where it was crunchy and hard. And that usually happens with silicones or sulfates. So if your hair is like your hair rebels silicones and sulfates, like if you have, you know, high porosity hair, low porosity hair, your hair is always going to combat a silicone or a sulfate. And so it's possible that whatever they use that was a byproduct may have combusted chemically and caused it to form a silicone within your hair shaft. They do have a certain number of certain types. Yeah. So I've never used their products. I've heard great things. Again, though, a lot of times when we're looking at these products, we're not thinking about our hair type. So we want to make sure that we're looking at not just the 4A, 4B, 4C part of our hair type, but also the level of porosity that makes up our hair type. All right, guys. So now that you're on here and I have you, I want to do a challenge. So for the month of March, and this will start March 8th, which is a Monday, and then we'll give you time to order if you don't have some. So I am doing through Serenity Naturals, I'm doing a hair challenge where we're going to focus on our hair growth. Serenity Naturals is amazing. With the hair growth oil is amazing, and it has helped me grow my edges back. Honey, these edges were struggling for a minute because of postpartum shedding, and now that I've cut my locks off, it's helping me get this, area over here that was thinning really, really bad back under control. And I want to help myself and you grow our hair. So I am challenging you all. If you have the oil, great. If you don't, go ahead and order. And I'm going to give you a coupon code. So I'm going to post the coupon code right now, and it's going to be, oops, 2021. Sorry. You can type in save 2021 when ordering your hair growth oil, and you will get 10% off of your order for that particular oil, or your entire order if you want to order more things. But we're going to start on March 8th. We're going to oil our scalp. We're going to use it on our scalp as well as on our hair, but we're focusing more on our scalp, and we're going to be intentional about massaging our scalp at least 3 to 5 times a week. Where are we ordering? I'm going to type that in there. Thank you, Katrina. It is serenitynaturals.equit.com. There you go. And so, yeah, so we're going to put that on our hair, on our scalp, massaging our scalp 3 to 5 times a week. Okay. And what I want us to also do and get in the habit of doing with ourselves is this can be a part of your self-care regimen. Like if you're somebody who, enjoys that downtime of like, washing your face, for instance. I have found a product that I absolutely love. So washing my face is amazing at the end of the day, right? And so during that time when you're just by yourself, I want you to take your Serenity Naturals, put it on your scalp, and just get to massaging. Oh, I love doing that to myself. Now, if you have a wonderful husband and he does not mind doing this for you, or boyfriend, then have him do it. It feels so much better when somebody else massages your scalp. But the point is to stimulate the scalp with the Serenity Naturals to help to enhance hair growth. So we want to do this for 30 days. And I want you all to take a picture, okay, of where you are. So this is where I am. If you can see, I'm about right there. If I stretch my hair out, so to my shoulder. And then we're going to I'm going to have you guys upload. I'm going to start a group and I'm have you guys to upload your pictures to the group so that you can show me where you are after 30 days. I'm really, really excited. I want to do this with you guys because I'm on my journey to growing my hair so that I can be your human mannequin. And also, just to get all of what's going on with my head with the shedding that hopefully has stopped. Jesus. It's just, ooh, she was going through some things, which is why I had to cut my locks off. So yeah, I am on a mission to growing my hair as well as my daughter's. If you've seen my pictures before, you've seen my kids' hair. Now they are children. Their hair is going to grow faster than most of us adults. However, it is not impossible. My daughter started out, my oldest, which is part of the reason why we have Serenity Naturals. She is the reason. Her hair was like dust, basically. I mean, she had like little strands of hair, and now her hair is in the middle of her back. Just saying. In the middle of her back, almost to her behind. So I know that it can grow your hair. So I want to encourage us all to be on a healthy hair journey and to help grow our hair. Also, one of the things that I want to encourage you all to do, a quick tip, is to not be afraid to get your ends trimmed. I have heard all too many times people say, oh, every time my ends get trimmed, I feel like my hair is shorter. Now, there is a difference between trimming your ends and getting a haircut. If you're sitting in someone's chair and your hair started out down to your bra strap, for instance, and now you've got shoulder length hair, that is a haircut. Okay. Anything that's 2 inches and above is a haircut. A trimming should be between a half inch to an inch. That is it. You should not have someone trimming your hair and it exceeds an inch. All right. Sorry, guys. Oh, this computer. Okay. So I've been going to the barber. Does that count? Does what count? As trimming, yes. First of all, your hair is short, so more than likely they're not doing more than 2 inches on your hair, especially if unless you're letting it grow out, and then you're getting it cut, really, really short. But for the most part, if you're just, yeah, yes, as a trimming, yes, especially if you're just going and getting like maybe it grew out an inch or two and you're getting it trimmed down. When I say like someone who's like, getting their hair trimmed on a regular, like someone like Tasha, for example, her hair is, down past her shoulders. If she were to come here, because she comes here to get her hair done, if she were to come here and I would just give her a cut and y'all saw her next time and her hair was up to her ears, that's a haircut. And so I've heard people say, that trimming, oh, trimming is the worst. Oh, I don't want to try. I want to retain length. You can still retain length with trimmed in the ends. What you don't want to do is to not get your ends trimmed ever, and then you come back and go to the hair salon and now your hair is split. So there's a happy medium, right? And I'm not saying trim your ends every month. The window should be anywhere between 60 to 90 days for your trims. And again, your trim shouldn't be more than 2 inches. Now, if it has to be because maybe your hair broke off, maybe it's been damaged, your charge, and I encourage you all to not be afraid to have the person who's trimming your hair show you where they're gonna cut. There is nothing wrong with it. I'm someone who, if I know I'm going to have to cut more than 1 inch off, I tell the person that's sitting in a chair, like, you know what, you've got some damage. It's going to be about 2 or 3 inches that we're going to have to cut. And I think that that's okay. And the person, whoever you're getting your hair done by, if they get offended, get up. Get up out of the chair and go find somebody else to do your hair. The reason why I say that is your hair belongs to you. When you get up out the chair, you walk and take your hair with you. You don't leave your hair with us when we're doing your hair. We don't own your hair. So it's not for us to get mad if you want to know where we're cutting and what we're doing. So don't be afraid to ask. And like I said, if they get offended, get up and go. Gotta go. Anywho, this has been fun. I appreciate you guys. We've been on here for an hour, so I'm going to let you go. Make sure to go to the Serenity Naturals website and order your oil. So serenitynaturals.equic.com. Make sure that you also go to our YouTube page. I'm going to put the link in here. Please subscribe to our YouTube page because I am going to also have classes on YouTube that may not necessarily be on Facebook. So make sure that you go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram. Follow Serenity Naturals on Instagram as well. I have split my pages up so that I can do more of these classes and those sort of things on my Instagram too, just kind of short videos. And then all my product stuff is on the Serenity Naturals page. So make sure that you follow me, please, please, and thank you. I had so much fun with you guys today. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to message me. I will answer anything. I'm also doing one-on-one. So if you decided that, hey, next Sunday I'm shampooing my hair, Ashley, can we jump on a one-on-one and do it together? Absolutely, we can do that. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And I hope you guys have an amazing